Hello to all my friends out there. Hi, you guys. Here we are again. Well, it's still very, very hot here. It's late. It's almost 11 o'clock and it's still very hot. So this video is evidence of the second wave of the corona and people we don't want to know. Okay, so how are we going to know if we have a second wave on our hands? Well, what we're going to do is very simple. We're going to look to the first wave and we're going to say, do we see any evidence of a second wave? What happened is we started to see a few cases of the COVID, and then within 3 months we were locked down. So we would see some cases of the COVID start to crop up. And so on the first wave, what we had was, we had people who flew into America and all around the world from China, contaminated with the COVID virus, viral pneumonia, and you know, they spread it all over the world. So it's not as easy for them to fly from China, but contaminated people can move around and these people can infect other people. What they can do is they can move from contaminated areas into uncontaminated areas and they can infect people. It's possible some of this contamination was intentional and some of it could have been they were just trying to move themselves to a safer area. So what we're doing is we're looking to the first wave and then we're looking to see if we see a pattern. So this infected person could purposely or accidentally infect people, but the result is the same. And then we are asked to believe that they didn't know they were sick. Accept, reject. I had pneumonia. I was in the hospital with toxic shock. They put me in a room with a woman with pneumonia, and I mean, I knew I had it practically immediately. So I'm rejecting this asymptomatic pneumonia. Okay, so it can be someone you know, or you can get it from somebody like at your work or on a plane, or you know, you're in some kind of crowds or clusters of people and you pick it up, or you're in places, you're eating in restaurants, you're in, you know, various places, salons. We're famous here for spreading it around. Now we actually know of 2 different families that got it. One was the family went to a basketball game with a nurse. The nurse knew that he was sick. He didn't know he had the corona, but he knew he didn't feel good. This is why I reject the I didn't know I had it. They might not have known they had the corona. He didn't. But this is when it first started. By the time it was done, the husband got it, the wife got it, and the wife's mother got it and died. And then we know an entire family that got it. So I guess one person in the family got it and then the whole family got it. Okay, so now what we have to know is it's transmitted by contaminated air that the person breathes out of their lungs, or they sneeze it into the air with droplets. Out here I see people take off their masks and sneeze. That's rude. They don't want to get their masks messed up. Yes. So your mask can help, but it's not going to protect you 100%. These are not good masks most of us have. Okay, gloves. I wear gloves. When I was a nurse, I wore gloves. Gloves keep you safe. Hand washing keeps you safe. A lot of people think my glove wearing is ridiculous. That's fine. Don't wear gloves. I wear gloves. When I was a nurse, I would wear 2 pair because sometimes the stuff could breach the first pair. And then the social distancing is a big issue. And a lot of places that you're in, people move around and create clusters. They're very, very dangerous. A cluster of 3, a cluster of 4 is dangerous if that person is infected. And then you go, you can look at it this way, well, I didn't know I was infected. Then why are you clustering if you don't know? So what we're doing is we're assuming everybody doesn't know and they all have it. Or we're assuming they all know and, you know. Okay, so now where would these people go? These people would go to colleges. We just had 1,000 people come down with it at San Diego State College. These people would go to churches. These people could be going sick knowingly or unknowingly with intention to infect or no intention to infect, but the result is the same. Like beaches, groups, mobs, protests. And it is strongly possible that the people in these crowds are targeted. Like, you know, the people who are protesting, how do we know that the protesters are not targeted individuals? That people are infected people are coming in and intentionally infecting these people. Okay, now I want to talk to you guys about agitators. I believe I see evidence of agitating. Okay, one thing to know about an agitator is an agitator cannot agitate without engaging you. Now, what you want to do is you don't want to get it close enough to anybody. The trick to avoiding the corona is no personal contact whatsoever. You know, and that is going to greatly reduce your chances of catching the corona. Okay, so now I will tell you about some stuff I have seen. People blocking the entrance and exits of stores. People blocking the aisles. Groups of 2 and 3 people, and there'll be long aisles. There'll be 2 and 3. You go down the other way, you know, to avoid these clusters, and you know it's the next aisle. So they're moving into areas and they're creating clusters, so it is impossible to shop in those stores. You shouldn't be shopping in those stores. There's no way to socially distance a cluster. You've got to move past 2 and 3 people. You never know. Some strains are more virulent than others. That's the dangerous thing. Usually you've got to have some kind of contact with that person. The best thing is no contact. You want to stay at least 6 feet away from people. And you can't do that if there's clusters that make it impossible for you to move down that aisle. And I mean, they won't move unless you say, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me, and then excuse me, no. Another thing I see, and I've seen this more than once, the check stand light is on, there is no checker there. Then the checker goes, I'll help the next person, and out of nowhere runs these clusters of like 2 and 3 people, like 3 clusters out of nowhere. The first time it happened, I thought, wow, that's really weird. But the second and third time I saw it, and then because this stuff did not exist before this latest, what I think is they're issuing in the second wave. So, you know, you want to watch out for clusters and crowds. Those are the most dangerous. First of all, there's nothing you need bad enough in any of these places to shop there. Your first sign, someone's blocking the door. You're trying to go in and trying to get into the store, and they're blocking the, you know, the checkout. They're blocking your entrance, and they're creating clusters. Now, another thing I saw is somebody is providing drugs to these street people. No food, but plenty of drugs. And these people are loitering around the shopping centers, and it's indirectly destroying the shopping centers because nobody wants to shop there because it's dangerous. And they're not big on wearing gloves or masks. And so there is that element of destruction. Now, when the protesters move in, it could be a target on the protesters, but it's also destroying the merchants' ability to do business. Although it has occurred to me that there is some possible element of insurance fraud going on here. So the looting is destroying the businesses, the people's, when the GDP goes down, everyone's going to suffer. People need to pay taxes so you can get your food stamps and stuff. So, these massive protests. And then, like, there was this girl today, and she came up behind me. And this is another thing I will see. I will see somebody, like, purposely doing something, like coming up very close to you. And then off to the right, there was a guy with no mask. So they're in groups, agitating. And this is like the second or third time. I had the little gal who was like a little bit, the one who said the social distancing was 6 inches. And along the back wall was a group of people. So there's groups of them. There'll be the agitator, and then there'll be groups. And also, the clerk was really, really bad. And I was in there, and some employee came up and said, "I just want to tell you you're doing a great job." Actually, he was not doing a great job. Not really. Okay, so now, of course, everyone's, you showed up for work, so, you're doing a great job. So, we want to look at this kind of stuff. Do I want to shop here, or do I want to go to a better area that's safer? Now, I want to say 2 more things. One, this thing that children cannot catch the COVID is illogical. Why? Because everybody has their masks on? No, children just don't catch pneumonia. Really? The other thing is animals can't catch the corona or transmit the corona. That is possibly not true. So, you want to watch out with your small children. You don't know who you're exposing them to in those stores. There may be purposeful sick people moving amongst our populations. But they're gonna have to get close enough to you to actually transmit enough of their contaminated breath to sicken you. So that's all you gotta know. So what you gotta know is, stay away from me, don't mess with me, that has to be. Because that's how you're going to catch it. I saw, the guy with the rocks, the street guy, I saw a woman sitting on a bench with him with her face and his face no further apart like this, and they were engaging in conversation. And I thought, that is so unsafe. How do you know she doesn't have it? Infecting this poor guy. It's a very dangerous time. Most people don't transmit it intentionally, but isn't the result the same? Isn't the result you were not wearing your mask, you were not socially distancing, you were in a cluster of people or a group or a crowd of people, and you were not wearing gloves, most likely. Try to imagine a nurse with no gloves. Well, why do you wear gloves? Well, because I don't want to get any contamination on my hands and spread it all over. Really? Well, why not? Well, hello? Like the guy today I saw with no mask, his mask was down here, and his mouth and nose were exposed. He goes, "It is my right not to wear one." I thought, mister, if you get this coronavirus, you will go straight to a nursing home. I guarantee you. He was that old. And the girl behind me, you are that poor, God help you if you catch the corona. Me, I will go straight to the emergency room at the first sign. I heard the president was getting some of these transfusions, these what are those things? Antibody transfusion things. Believe me, if you're poor, you're not going to get any antibody transfusions. You're going to be lucky to survive. Okay, you guys, please like, comment. I am praying for the president. That's nothing but bad. Yeah, it's awful, actually. Okay, you guys, please like, comment, and subscribe, and God bless you all.